As a travel filmmaker, my days are hardly ever identical. Some are often filled with adventure and spontaneous moments, particularly when I'm out shooting, but at other times I have to sit in the office and I have to try to catch up with editing all the footage that I shot. While this may sound exciting, it can make it quite challenging to maintain a proper routine because no day is ever the same. However, I have discovered that it is entirely possible to stick to a solid routine no matter where you are and no matter what you are doing. And in the next part of this video, I'll share my top tips on how to maintain a consistent routine even when life gets a little bit crazy and takes you on like a whirlwind of experiences. So stay tuned because these strategies will help you to stay on track and keep your productivity high regardless of the circumstances. You know those days where it feels like you hit a wall and you're going absolutely nowhere? Imagine waking up way past the alarm, all over the place, and your day is just kind of snowballing into a complete mess. I've had my fair share of those. Waking up at odd hours, fitness routine is completely out of the window, and hours are just kind of slipping away into nothingness. I was stuck in this frustrating loop of unproductivity. But here's the plot twist. I turned it around and now I'm nailing my goals left and right, and a lot of days really feel like a win. Now, the moment I traded my office job, I noticed that the structure of my days just kind of dissolved. Not having a routine can be a major roadblock, especially for creatives. Many photographers and filmmakers work self-employed, right? That sounds really great at first glance to be able to manage your time yourself, but without a set routine, days can really quickly spiral into unstructured chaos. I used to jump from one task to the other, totally lose track of time, and I ended up feeling like completely overwhelmed or unproductive on a lot of days. So what is next? I'm going to break down the steps I used to craft a powerful routine that totally flipped my creative work around. And trust me, you're gonna want to hear this. Lots of people will tell you that they wake up at 4, start their day with a military workout and all sorts of crazy things. I do none of those because I'm not a morning person and my own body can't really handle this time of the day that well. So I recommend to choose a wake up time that suits you. For me, it is usually around 8 a.m., sometimes even a bit later, as I tend to be more productive on the evenings. So just pick and choose the time that works out for you and don't copy somebody else on YouTube just because they wake up at 4 a.m. every day to do some crazy stuff. Okay, one thing that I try to do every morning, because really I'm not a morning person, is just to get some direct sunlight in my eyes right after waking up. It really helps me to set my internal timer and kind of start the day. So force yourself to get out and get a little bit of natural light. I usually make up a reason like, going to the supermarket or buying a thing or whatnot, and it helps tremendously with the wakefulness and starting the day. Starting your day with a clear and focused mind can make all the difference in how productive and efficient you are later on in the day. I like to use an app called Headspace to guide me through the quick meditation session, as I'm a bit of a beginner there. And by starting my day that way with a clear and positive attitude, I feel that I'm kind of like better equipped to tackle whatever challenges come in my way later on. Now, the next step is a quick break for sports. And once again, people will tell you all kinds of like crazy things, how they do 4 hours of gym each day. But unless fitness is your main job, I think that is completely unrealistic. So in my daily routine, I try to make things as achievable as possible and also kind of as short as possible. But I find it important to get it off the list as early as possible, as otherwise I find excuses in the evening as why I'm too tired and so on and so forth. So when I'm traveling, I tend to go for a quick run or hit the gym in the hotel. And when I'm home, I typically sign up for a boxing class using the ClassPass app. That way I have prepaid for the activity already and I have a fixed time slot that ensures that I'm not finding excuses to skip. And I find that consistency is really king here, and you want to stay a little bit flexible. So even though running isn't really my favorite thing to do, it's also an option for me, and it's also relatively short. So as I had mentioned, I'm really not a morning person, but one of the things that really helps me to boost my metabolism is having cold showers in general right after the gym, because it also helps with muscle recovery and has tons of other benefits. So whenever I can, I also like to do an ice bath. These are like super gigantic. So we're gonna take a cold plunge right here. The ice bath really helps me to get my system a shot of adrenaline, and the rest of the day I usually feel amazing. But I don't do this every single day, obviously, and instead only every few weeks. But I can really recommend that to make it part of your routine, because it really was a game changer for my own productivity. Breakfast is key, but overdoing it can slow you down at work and cause a slump later in the day. So try to keep it light and energizing to keep the momentum going. Now the real deal for getting ahead, it is all about being consistent, rolling up your sleeve and doing the work every day, even when you're not feeling it. So from my experience, you gotta put the spotlight onto consistency and really make friends with small and consistent wins every day. After breakfast, I like to allocate about 30 minutes to respond to important emails that have come up overnight or early in the morning. And I find that very helpful to address these things first thing in the morning, so I can focus on other tasks throughout the day without feeling distracted or overwhelmed. Sometimes there are urgent tasks that need my attention. I'll add them to the calendar for the week so I can make sure that they get done. This helps me to stay on top of my responsibilities and ensures that I'm making progress on my goals. Now, once I'm done with emails, I dive straight into my work for the day. As a photographer and videographer, my personal work can vary from shooting photos and videos outside, just like I am on this location right now, to working on post-production tasks like video editing and this kind of stuff. So I find it quite helpful to allocate time slots of about, say, like 2 to 3 hours to specific tasks, which helps me to stay focused and productive. If I'm shooting outside, like I am right now, I'll block out a few hours in my schedule for that specific project. If I'm working on office tasks like editing and so on, I'll allocate time for that as well. As you can see, I'm actually on an island right now to shoot some content for this channel. So let me take you along for a quick shoot, and then I return back to explain how I schedule the work behind my computer, okay? Lunchtime, for me it's usually a quick one, often at my computer. I know it's not the best habit, but hey, it's about finding out what works for you. Just remember, don't make it an excessive meal or you'll be fighting the urge to nap all afternoon, and that might kill your productivity. Staying hydrated is not only good for your health, it's crucial for keeping your mind sharp and focused at work. So keep a bottle at your desk and make it your best friend. You'll feel the difference in your concentration, guarantee. I just got back to the computer and I'm going to edit here for the next couple of hours. So let me talk you through how I schedule the work behind the computer. During these focused work sessions, I try to eliminate distractions like social media and email and turn off all notifications on my phone and my computer. This really helps me to stay in the zone and be like a lot more productive. It is also quite important to leave sufficient breaks, because you can't really work at full capacity for like 5 hours in a row. So I tend to use this kitchen timer that I got off really cheap on Amazon to measure about 2 to 3 hours of work, and then I usually take a half-hour work break. Now, as a videographer, efficiency is quite important, and I'm always on the lookout for tools and resources that can help me to streamline my workflow and minimize the time behind the computer. That's why I wanted to explain the tools that I use to shorten my editing time, and I do that by using a service called Motion Array, which are a one-stop shop for all of your video editing needs and also the sponsor of today's video. I've been using them for quite some time now to improve the videos on my channel, and they offer a large library of templates, stock footage, music tracks and sound effects, which are all accessible from within their platform. This saves me time and money by avoiding the need to search for and purchase these assets separately. One of my favorite features is the easy-to-use video templates. These allow me to create professional-looking videos quickly and easily, even when I'm short on time, and they also offer video review tools which make it easy for clients to provide feedback and streamline the revision process. Motion Array is also quite affordable. The paid plan is less than $30 a month, and if you sign up for the annual plan, you get like $50 off, making it quite accessible for freelancers and video creators. Overall, I can highly recommend Motion Array for any video editor or creator who's looking to up their game and create high quality content efficiently and affordably. I have used their assets like super extensively on this channel over a ton of my videos, and it saved me a ton of time. So go check them out, and thanks Motion Array for making this video possible. Now, of course, life isn't always like action-packed and super exciting with outdoor shoots and that kind of stuff. That is just kind of like part of the picture. But I realized that bouncing from one task to another just doesn't cut it. It's like trying to hit multiple targets with a single arrow. It just simply doesn't work that easily. So I learned to bundle tasks. Now, by grouping similar tasks together, I started to dedicate like certain days solely to photo and video shooting. These are kind of like my action days. But other days I reserve for the less glamorous but equally important things like admin work. And you know what? It made a massive difference. I became a lot more productive, less stressed out, and I got to enjoy a sense of accomplishment at the end of each day. Now here's an important thing that will help you not to fail easily when setting up your routine. Don't be so hard on yourself. I found that if your environment changes quite constantly, it is much more difficult to get each element of the routine right. So instead, I recommend to establish everything one by one. And remember, nobody's perfect, and not every day is gonna go exactly as you planned. People on YouTube often like to tell you that everything is perfect, and it can be easy to get disencouraged when you don't achieve everything you wanted to. In my case, the elements of the routine can often be adapted a little bit. So I quite often have to adapt my workout, for example, or even skip it a couple of times. But I try to keep at least 80% constant all of the time. So be aware that unexpected events or just feeling unmotivated will throw off your routine every once in a while, but it is totally okay to deviate from your plan a little bit every once in a while, and it is important not to beat yourself up over it. Remember that your routine should serve you and your goals and not the other way around. So if you miss a day or two, don't sweat it. Another thing that I try to make as part of my routine is reconnecting to the nature as much as possible. At the moment I'm on the trip, so I'm taking a quick evening stroll at this beautiful beach right here. But if I'm in the city, I'll try to find green places and go to parks, and it helps me tremendously to kind of reset my brain and be more productive during the time when I'm actually conducting work. So let's enjoy this beautiful sunset, and then I'll get the rest of the work done for the day. Oh wow, there's a lionfish. Very poisonous. What's up, buddy? So cool. And last but not least is what I call my shutdown routine. So basically, before going to bed, I usually like to close my computer at a given time every single day, and I make sure that I don't think about work as much anymore. Instead, I like to do activities like socializing, meeting friends, or reading and doing some other kind of stuff that allows me to go to bed and not like overthink the entire day. And that really helps me to separate work from, my spare time, and makes me a lot more productive for the next day ahead. That is it, guys. So whether you're editing, shooting, or doing other creative stuff, having a routine is really like a roadmap that can guide you. If you liked what you heard today, please leave a like. Also consider subscribing. I'll leave another video here on the screen that you might find interesting. And with that said, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.